And action. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Action Podcast. Today we got three movies on the docket. The first one
Yes.
is a Minecraft movie, excuse me, based on the popular video game series starring Jason Momoa and Jack Black. Second, we have Death of a Unicorn starring Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd.
All right.
And
Yep.
lastly, we have A Working Man. It's directed by David Ayers of Fury and End of Watch fame, starring Jason Statham, of course. So, Pete, let's get into Minecraft. This is going to be an interesting movie. Let me give some numbers real quick. Right now, it's got a six,
Dude,
and
it's crushing.
then money wise, let me see.
364 million right now worldwide, and
Oh,
it
yeah, your
cost
numbers are higher than mine.
150.
Yeah,
Cost 150.
yeah. So
So
there'll be a second one.
it's doubled. You're gonna see a Minecraft too.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
that's a
I'll
reality.
I'll let you go full into your thing first, but I will just say definitely for me, this definitely had a lot of Jumanji vibes. I don't think it's as good as Jumanji, but you know, to be honest, like I don't know anything about Minecraft, so talk about going in this movie blind. I'm sure there's a million time reference, but I saw it in the theater and I thought the crowd enjoyed certain aspects of it. There seem to be references that they enjoyed. I'll talk about some other references later, but
Right. Oh my God, the wolf.
yeah. What's your
Who knows? Who knows what they're referencing? Yeah, I have no experience in the Minecraft world as well. I know that my daughter has dabbled in it, but never really got into it. Like she's done a couple of like levels here and there.
oh, okay.
However, this is a massive IP. I mean, Minecraft is like one of those. It's like Roblox, right? These are massive IPs that if you do it right, you could make $1 billion. If you do it wrong, the reality is you're going to make $500 million, right? So, I mean, the downside to this kind of a movie, it's just not really that significant. Um, However, if you look at it from a straight like production and a visual movie, this was not a good movie. Now, let me preface this by saying the intent of this movie may have been to make the CG look so bad to mimic the world of Minecraft and the video game world of Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what it was, 100%.
However, it was so distracting for people who aren't into Minecraft. It was so distracting that it took away a lot from like because I was so focused on how bad things looked that I couldn't really get into a lot of what was happening. This was not a visually good. They could have done a CG really well done version of the Minecraft world, and it would have told this really nice story in a way that it would have actually benefited everybody versus keeping it like streamlined towards people that understand the Minecraft world and how shitty the animation is supposed to look. It looked bad. The VFX
I didn't
are
have an issue.
awful.
I didn't have an issue with it because it definitely looked style. It was stylized.
Dude, it was bad. Dude, punches were coming and not even being close. People were not even looking in the direction of the people that they were actually talking to who were CG. There were so many flaws in the VFX and the animation of this movie that I think if they would have actually, for $150 million, they could have made that little bit of an adjustment
I
and they could have made
I
this
felt like that's what they're
appeal.
going for, though.
I understand that. However, you're now limiting yourself to only X amount of people that are going to understand what the Minecraft world is and appreciate it as a movie, as opposed to look at Super Mario Brothers. That's an IP that's established for decades, and they made a movie that was phenomenal. And nobody ever said, boy, that doesn't look good. And it's not distracting. This movie had the potential to be a Super Mario Brothers, and it's going to make its money, and they're going to make five of these movies.
Yeah,
However, what they did stylistically took away, and I guarantee you, turned off millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of people viewing your film because you decided to go this one route. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. I feel like there could have been a way to make it appropriate to the Minecraft world and make it appealing to the masses.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Half
yeah,
the time, the CG characters' mouths weren't even moving.
yeah. That was a total. I mean, I picked that up right away.
But
I don't
but
know why.
that's distracting for a normal viewer.
I mean, that's not what I was focused on, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't think this is a great movie. I think
It wasn't horrible.
it wasn't horrible. It was entertaining,
It's
but
a
like
six.
there's just there is it just definitely felt like if you're not a Minecraft person, it's gonna be hard to really get involved in it because I just
But it had
very
the star power behind it. It had Jason
sure.
Momoa.
Jack
It
Black
had
was
Jack
funny.
Black, who,
It's
no
more
offense, no offense to Jack Black, but he's now an entity in of himself, right? Like he's always going to do a rock ballad. He's always going to do a hard rocking jam, and he's always going to be performing at a super high level. That's what you get from Jack Black. He can't get away from that apparently at all. So you're going to get that from him. You got Jason Momoa, who is very funny at times, but is he really the Jason Momoa that you want? The kids are great. They do a really good job. But at the end of the day, I mean,
I
it's
actually
just,
didn't like I didn't like
this
the
could have been an eight, but it's a six.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree this is not as good as Super Mario Brothers, but again, I know Super Mario Brothers. I don't know Minecraft. I actually didn't love the storyline of the older sister. It felt very I felt like they really could have went further along on that. And they kind of just like I didn't she wasn't really a strong character. And I
No,
felt
not
like
at all. She was reactive.
yeah, I felt like they easily could have made her stronger. Like I like the younger kid's character.
He was
Um
cool.
he was cool and I thought they set him up for success in this film. I thought could she could have done more. Like she didn't really have like they played to his strengths and it helped him in this movie. She didn't have any strengths that were set up and that to me was a kind of a big kind of omission, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Oh, and Danielle Brooks, who is a phenomenal actress, by the way. And, her character was so secondary, and she was the I'm just gonna throw in a line after something important has already been said kind
Yeah,
of
comic
thing.
relief.
Like her character should have been a little bit more pronounced. I mean, if I'm nitpicking, Danielle
Yeah.
Brooks you took a talent like that and you didn't do anything with it other than give her some throwaway lines, or she shows up with with the wolves at the end. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she was impactful, and yet you didn't take advantage of it. But whatever.
Yeah. All right.
There was a lot of opportunity, and they didn't do it.
Fun fact, this movie was directed by Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite. So there's a couple Napoleon Dynamite references in this movie to include tater tots and the impaka.
The tots were funny.
Yeah. That makes sense now because I was wondering, I'm like, is this real? But now
I
that
mean, listen, the kids at the end of the day, they're gonna love this movie, and it's gonna be fun for them.
yeah,
I just think that if you wanted to do that four quadrant um, sell, then you would have done A, B, and C, like I've already mentioned, and you could have had a massive hit on your hands, but you decided to go the safe route. It's a
yeah,
safe movie.
it's a safe movie. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but like I said, I thought it could have maybe got done a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
anyway. So, like I said, I think our general consensus, if you're a Minecraft person, I think you'll like it. If you're not a
I think you'll
Minecraft
love it.
person, if you have kids, I would say do it. If you don't have kids,
Kids are gonna love it,
oh,
and the parents are going to have a good time if they don't know about it. It's just,
yeah.
it could have been better. It
Yeah.
could have been phenomenal.
All right. Next, we have Death of a Unicorn. This has a 6.3 on IMDb right now. Again, stars Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd. And money-wise,
I didn't see this one.
I don't think this is doing well. Oh, it only had a budget of 15 million, but it's only grossed just under 10 million worldwide. So, I mean, it'll break even just with streaming and all that stuff. But overall, I like this movie. It's a dark comedy. It's kind of a unique sort of film in terms of like its tone and like what it is. It's kind of like a mixture of genres. Um, and it's interesting. It's an interesting movie, but overall, I had a good time on this one. I definitely like this more than Minecraft. But it's a fun movie. I'm a big Paul Rudd guy, but this is a kind of a unique concept. Um, it's almost got a slightly Jurassic Park type of vibe to it in a way. Not obviously like skillfully crafted as Jurassic Park, but in terms of, you know, storyline, I guess it's almost like a cousin of Jurassic Park in a way. But it's funny. It's funny, and the premise is kind of funny, and you just kind of go on a fun little ride. And so
Well,
I go ahead.
it's interesting. Pairing Paul Rudd with Jenna Ortega, you get that dark vibe, but then you get that comedic value, and
Yeah,
then you smash them together in this film. I saw an interview with him where he was talking about just the idea of it. Like, his agent says, I have this script called Death of a Unicorn. And he's like, I'm in. Any death to unicorns, I'm totally in, as a funny bit. However, from what I understand, because I haven't seen this film, it's phenomenal. I've heard that it's a really good representation of both these actors who bring both of their sort of vibes or genres
yeah.
into like this one world, and yet it's enjoyable.
Yeah, and in the end, like we always talk about the side characters, you can put stars together like them too, and in your movie can still be whatever. But the side characters in this movie are really fun and really add a lot of
Ah,
levity. So you have Will Poulter. You've seen him in other things. I want to say he's in Vacation. Is that right?
maybe
I think he's in Vacation.
I have to look it up.
I think he's Rusty in Vacation.
Rusty.
But he is really funny in this. I liked his character a lot.
Right,
He's definitely like he can do a lot more comedy. I think he's got the chops. Taylor Leone, she's a long time both dramatic and comedic actress. Um,
right.
she's definitely almost makes fun of certain types of women, which is funny. And then Anthony Carrigan, who plays Griff, he's bald. He has a very unique look to him, but he's hilarious in this one too. I was just
Right.
even reading a thing where he studied like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, and that's what like he does very good physical comedy in this, and he's almost like Jeffrey the Butler from Fresh Prince, where he's
So,
just kind of like again everyone kind of treats him like like a servant, obviously, but like ask him to do like ridiculous things.
and
And
Anthony Carrigan, by the way, is one of the best actors out there, and he's always the side character because he
yeah,
was in Barry and he crushed Barry. In fact,
oh, that's
Barry.
right, that's right,
He
yeah,
was
that's
sup-
right,
he was supposed to be like in one episode for like one scene, but they loved what he did with it that they actually wrote him into the series.
yeah,
And this guy has I just saw him in a movie I just watched about Timothy McVeigh called McVeigh. And he plays one of the guys in McVeigh. This dude is so talented.
yeah.
Anthony Carrigan. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, he's great in this. Like I said, this was a fun movie, and again, a lot of these characters all
Wow.
add to it, but it is semi gory too. So that'd be my only
Caveat.
not yeah caveat, not reservation, but caveat, just because some people don't like
Yep.
gore. So
Sure.
that'll kind of keep it not for everybody. But like I said, I think this is a fun movie. A little bit of gore, but I mean, actually, no, the gore is pretty bad, but
I can't wait to see it.
it's funny gore to me. You know what I mean? All right,
Sure.
next we have A Working Man. Like I mentioned, David Ayer and Jason Statham teaming up again. They did a Beekeepers, the Beekeeper. Um,
Yeah.
they did the Beekeeper last year, which did really well, and they are back together again. And let me look at some numbers here. Sorry,
Well, while you're looking at numbers, I had no idea that Sylvester Stallone wrote or was one of the writers of this movie.
oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
David
Yeah,
Ayer,
that's incredible.
yeah.
That
Well,
that adds another layer of awesomeness to this
yeah.
film.
So this has a 6.0. I think that's low. I think this is
Way
I,
low.
I actually think it's an 8 for what it is. Like to me, this is obviously a
Mm.
genre film, but I think it's
Yeah,
an
I would not go eight.
I think it's I'm not saying 8 overall in the
It's
history
a
of cinema.
solid seven. Like
Yeah,
a solid seven.
but like action drama, I think it's like an 8. Like I'm definitely gonna watch this again. I enjoyed it just like I enjoyed The Beekeeper. Like I can watch this over and over again. I don't have to necessarily I can watch it at any point in this film and be um oh, and he also wrote Homefront.
See,
So that's right.
yeah, see the thing about this film, and if you look at it holistically, right? Like, the Statham movies, you expect a certain number of things to sort of take place. One, he's a down and out guy, or he's a working man, like this title. And, he's got to accomplish something in which he ultimately does. And he ultimately never really gets hurt, ever. And I said this on our review of The Beekeeper, which I loved. I loved The Beekeeper. And I know that that's going. Statham has the knack of selecting projects that can continue on, and he can make versions of this film for the rest of his life. There's going to be more beekeepers. In fact, I think there's another one coming out very soon.
Yeah.
There's going to be other working man movies because he just attaches himself to these films that are um, desirable
Yeah.
for audiences, and they're desirable for studios, obviously, because they make a ton of cash and they're good stories.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Statham that I don't think that people recognize, is that he attaches himself to stories that are actual, like, real great stories. They
Yeah.
may be cliche at times. However, the start to finish journey that you go on, you're with him every step of the way because of the secondary characters like Michael Pena in this case, and the girl that played the kidnap victim. I forget her name. Um, but they did such an incredible job that and even the villains in this movie, you were with Jason Statham because of the performances around him, and he surrounds himself constantly with incredible people.
Yeah.
This is a great movie to watch. It's a fun time, and you're going to see more working men movies, just like you're going to see more beekeeper movies. Statham is my hero. That
Yeah.
dude just picks movies that are primed. And the
Yeah.
fact that Sylvester Stallone was a writer on this film tells me everything I need to know about how awesome it is.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's not just Jason Statham, it's David Ayer, right? This is they are a collaboration. David Ayer knows Jason Statham at this point, and
Right.
and vice versa. And again, to bring in a guy like Stallone probably had a nice idea. It kind of remind me of I think what's it called, The Last Blood, where kind of Rambo takes on kind of the drug cartel. Kind of similar story in that one. That one was good. I like that one. And then it's kick ass at the end. I mean, this is classic testosterone driven film. And yeah, I can't get enough of it. I'm definitely the demographic of this film. You're definitely the demographic of this film. And I think again, within this genre, I think it's an 8. I think overall it's yeah, a 6 or 7, depending if you like action films, but
Right.
it's a good topic, um, with a good enemy that you hate and that you want to see justice done, and that's what Jason Statham brings. So
And if you're Jason Statham in real life and you're like, I want to work with a director who's amazing. This guy did Harsh Times, which is like one of the most underrated films ever, right? End of Watch, which is another underrated. Nobody ever talks about End of Watch, but
good. I
it's
just
a
rewatched
real
it.
dude, it's a realistic sort of glimpse into what it's like to be a police officer. And then, oh yeah, by the way, Fury, which is like the biggest movie ever. And then he did Suicide Squad, which is, whatever, we can debate that. But
Yeah,
then he
that wasn't
comes
all
in
his
with,
fault though. There was a lot of issues with that production.
yeah. However, and then Beekeeper, and now Working Man. Like, this is a director that knows what his strengths are,
Yeah.
and he attached himself to a character and an actor who knows what his strengths are as well, and it's storytelling. It's not the action, it's the storytelling that these two combined are really focused on, in my opinion.
And don't forget, I'm just double checking it, but he wrote Training Day, which he won. He wrote SWAT, Dark Blue,
Yeah,
Training. So again, this is really up his alley in terms of to go along with all the other films you said.
he
So
wrote the original Fast and Furious screenplay.
yeah,
That's
that one's good. That one's a good script.
what a resume. Like,
Yeah,
what a resume.
yeah. So yeah,
Incredible.
I highly check this out, guys. The comps are exactly that. If you like that, if those are in your world, go check it out. Again, a fun movie.
You
Uh,
really should.
Definitely a movie. This is a classic movie that would back in the day would be on like USA, TNT, or TBS, and
Right.
on all weekend, and you'd watch it 3 or 4 times. All of a sudden, within 5 years, you might have watched it 20 times because it's always on the weekends. Like I feel like this movie is can easily slide into that TBS TNT
So
lineup.
fun. It's such a ride,
Yeah.
and it's well done.
All right, awesome. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Next week, we have a few films on tap. I'm already
Go on.
behind. It's we have The Amateur
Amateur.
with Rami Malek. I forgot one more movie. Oh, we'll add it to the next one. So I did see The Friend, but we'll add it to the next one only because I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I will add it to the next one. I would like you to see that one if possible, Pete.
I'm
Uh,
halfway through the amateur right now.
okay. And then
So good.
there was two other films. I know. I was gonna literally see it yesterday, and I
It's so good.
oh Warfare.
Get ready.
Warfare. That's a movie I'm super. And then Drop, that date movie one where someone airdrops something, and it's like a, you know, kind of a horror.
All right, say that again. There's Drop, and what was the other one?
Warfare. It's a new film.
Warfare.
Alex
Yeah.
Garland. He did Civil War last year. And then Amateur. So we got those three. We'll try and see possibly A Woman in the Yard. I wasn't able to fit that in myself. Not necessarily looking forward to seeing that one because it looks scary as
It
shit.
looks so scary.
I don't know. We'll see.
I want to see this movie so bad. I'm gonna go see it at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be on vacation, so we'll see if I can squeeze it in beforehand. But all right, that's gonna wrap it up. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And with that, Pete, that is a cut. Thanks, guys.